I'm so glad we are back. Everybody was kind of like busy during this season, if they were like traveling for their vacation or busy with so many things going on. Here at Mama Tortuga, we're glad to have you back. And we're so glad to have our IG Lives Community Friends series. As you know, we are always promoting amazing accounts and services and websites for you to raise an amazing next generation. And today is not the exception. I'm super proud of the people that I'm going to present today. I am going to let them present themselves. So hold on.
Hello, good morning. How are you? Or good morning in California. Excited to connect with everybody in your community.
Yeah, so I've been so happy and super excited about this live because I have to tell you I'm a super fan. I want to share a little bit how I met, Alphabet Rockers. We go like usually to our local library, and I like to browse, children music section, and I found one of your CDs there, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna check it out because, like I like to, check out new things.
Cool.
Well, I put the CD in the car, and I was like, oh wow, like this music rocks. And I don't know, I think like my kids were like, Mom, like you really like it. I was like, yes, I was really into it. I love your music, but I love your messages. Like you genuinely make me cry. Like I love the songs are really like wow, like can't believe like you guys are, having so much energy and power in the lyrics. And then the music is totally cool. Like you guys have it.
Thank you. Well, it's, what we always feel like the music is actually the people, like it's the community. So all this knowledge is already in the community. So when we write the lyrics, it's like one of our friends is on here, Gina, watching, and like the song I'm Proud was written from her and her daughter's perspective, like about like how can you be proud of yourself and show up in the world even when the world makes you a little nervous about who you are because of the way it is. So it's really rooted in our truths, and we love it. And then music, we're lucky we found each other, and we have like a really cool community of music makers to make it
But you guys are
really
family?
modern. Was that,
are you guys a couple? Like I just want to. Oh, okay. Because, I was like curious about it. I wanted to know a little bit more. Like Alphabet Rockers is a group of you. Like, would you like to tell our audience?
Yeah, absolutely. So Tommy, and my name's Caitlin. She and her is my pronouns. Tommy's my business partner and like work husband. And then and he's African American and uses he, him, and they as his pronouns. So the two of us, and then there's this huge community of artists that work with us. We actually are touring at times with a DJ and a dancer, choreographer, and then there's 4 young people that are 10 and 11 years old that we we met them really through the Rise Shine Woke album, which is what got nominated for the Grammy. I'm actually going to show you our Grammy certificate. After we started performing a little bit with them, something else really happened, and we realized like we were actually co-stars. It wasn't like it never was like, oh, aren't the young people so cute? It was like, no, like we want to know what you have to say, and so we're co-stars. So let me show you our Grammy certificate, and then you can see a picture of my kiddo too. This is my office. There it is.
I love it.
And then this is my little 2-year-old.
Oh, so it's yeah, and she sings in the album.
Yeah, he does a bunch of the singing on it but mostly like when we put the mic up, it was more about the spoken word for him. So he's not ready to be a singer, but that's okay.
Well, I have to tell everybody that Alphabet Rockers have amazing songs. Like, I can assure that your kids will love this music. But most of it is the messages that they bring, the messages about empowering children and families and communities, and the solidarity between people, which for me was like definitely what made me cry, because I was like, wow, like, you know, the new generation needs to receive this in this
Yeah.
amazing form. Like, music is the way to reach
Yeah.
new generations, and you guys got it. Like, you guys have the
Thank
amazing
you.
music, the style, and I love the way that you incorporate children in all the, you know, everything, like the dance part, you know, because by the way, I will post everything in our link, but they have a YouTube channel. They have an Amazon store. You guys can check their music in SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple. Like, you guys can check them out anytime, because I can definitely assure you that that will be a group that you guys will be following.
Yeah, and the thing about solidarity that's really interesting is, like, when we started doing this kind of work, we realized that most of the solidarity work that had been mass communicated was from a white lens, and I am white. So my real deep work is around how do I step back, like facilitate, help, but also check all of the biases and patterns that are embedded in my body and in all of our bodies for folks who are born in this country, like or raised in this country, because it's everywhere. And so when we talk about solidarity work in 2019, we're looking at intersectionality, and we're not looking back, right? We're looking forward as to, like, we're at a stronger place of understanding. We have more access to knowledge, and we have more people with a microphone. So it's our job as culture keepers and creators to reflect that. So I'm so happy to hear, like, solidarity is a challenge. It's actually not an assumption, right? And so I feel like the unfortunate thing in kids, like, education spaces, a lot of time it's like I was talking to my nephew about this last night, who's 8. He was asking me about the music, and he's like, Auntie, like, what is the next album going to be about, and this and that. And I was like, well, what do you think each of them's about? And one thing I was saying is, like, you know, the sad thing for me is that, like, we were taught in my community we're all the same, but then that's so not true, right? And that's very convenient for white supremacy to say we're all the same, because then you don't actually provide any resources or any equity. So,
and I have to say, you know, like, I mean, the fact that I was so surprised to find on finding this music in my local library is that you guys need to understand that you guys are in a very progressive area, which is in Oakland, California.
right.
That, like, the way people relate in very progressive communities is not the same around the country, nor the same as around the world. So what we're trying to do is, like, pretty much, you know, like, bringing all this knowledge and this
Yes.
education to another level, because for me it was, like, very surprising to find this woke album for children in my local library, where I live in South Florida, and we are a very diverse community, but we're still very much not there. Still very much, you know, in a very aggressive environment. And many times, you know, when you know, I'm trying to explain things to children, we don't have a lot of resources because of that. Like, a lot of the resources that I found as a mother, you know, and at my website, what I support, I noticed it's, like, coming from places where New York or California, or, you know, like, places that are
Right.
way definitely beyond, because you guys have communities that are, you know, more supportive of this work. But for example, the latest album, I have to say, I adore all your collaborations, and it's more about, you know, respecting different gender, LGBTQ youth, and it made me feel so empowered in the sense that, you know, that's something I've been trying to do more mindfully with both of my children, but also, you know, trying to kind of, like, show that, like this is not something foreign. Like
Yeah.
there's children that are growing up right now that need to be accepted the way they are. And in your latest album called Love, that's what you bring, like you
Thank
bring
you.
like many beautiful songs saying like, like I am who I am, I'm beautiful who I am, and all these different children and youth, saying their
Yeah.
pronouns. And also including indigenous groups,
Yes.
which I think is a huge issue right now, about our work in the colonizing, our
Yes.
children and our children mentality and our mentalities. So I cannot recommend your music enough. I'm so
Mm.
glad that you guys exist. I wish I had the power to bring you to my local library. I have to
You
tell you that
might.
I've been
You know, I
talking
wanted to give a shout out to one
and
of
I have
our
to say,
producers just
whoever,
joined in.
yeah, whoever
One of our
watches this,
producers, Kangaroo's on here. What's up? And thank you. You're so gifted. And we have these artists from all over the country that have actually contributed. And I think, yeah, and what's important about the understanding of like indigenous work is like our solidarity work that we're talking about actually needs to take a step back to the place of like we always come back to like what is America, right? And that is so complicated. But even this whole terror that's been taking over on immigrants, there's so much context, and we can do it with young people to look at like how do we navigate space? What space do you hold in the world? Like, and I'm driving my kid to preschool for the first time today, which was a big deal. And he said, Mama, there are the tents. Let's talk about it. And I said, what do you know about the tents? And he said, that's where people are living that don't have homes. He's 2 years old. And yes, and it's also the context of like where we live, we have a home. Is this our land? No. Whose land is this, right? But that's just like one beginning piece of it. How do we really look at, how to understand humanity? And it's not like a question of just like making kids music. It's actually like the question of our time, because we're all presented with it. And we're so lucky we have this amazing community of indigenous leaders here in the Bay Area that are so they're very generous to share this information. I always feel that way as somebody who's learning. Same way of like, I don't identify as transgender. The folks who are trans that like stepped up and shared their truth, some of them as young as 5 years old.
wow.
That's generous. And I feel like
And
that's something to know and privilege is like when somebody
the
calls you out on something, they're being kind. They're loving
and
you.
actually, when they're doing that, it shows so much courage, valentia,
Right.
because like I put yesterday on my Instagram about being free. Like the persons that are really free, they're the
Yeah.
people who can really be happy, and
Mm.
I need that 100%. Like the people that really are who they are without putting a mask to society or doing whatever
Yeah.
people are telling them. And that requires a lot of courage, and especially
Yeah.
in the world we're living at right now. So when you're telling
Right.
me that you're having amazing friends, even 5-year-olds, that are showing themselves as trans in this world, it gives me a lot of hope in thinking that
Yeah.
maybe we can start activating the change, and
Yes.
exposing our children to the reality, because like bottom line, if you agree or don't agree, it doesn't really matter. The fact that people are the way they are, it is, like.
Yeah.
And I love one of your songs that says, like I'm pretty sure you know all the songs, but the one that don't try to read me. I am,
Yes.
I
I
am.
am enough. Yeah.
Like
Please don't
sometimes we
try
want
to
to
read me.
understand.
Yeah.
Can you sing?
Yes. Please don't try to read me, place me or displace me. You cannot erase me. The sky is the limit, and that's where I'm living. I am enough.
Woo! I
Hey.
love it.
I got the love. Yeah. Say I am enough. Woo. We got the love.
I love
I love
it.
that because as we learn about gender identity, sometimes there's this curiosity amongst like cisgendered folks who are born with the same sex, that they identify with, of well, which gender are you, or like And sometimes it's like, you don't need to know, just appreciate me. And that's a good check of like, one thing I like about learning from queer folks too is that it's always going to evolve. So we always have to just listen and be willing to make mistakes, but also be willing to have it not be a finite ending to our learning. So it's just,
yeah.
yeah,
So
that's like, and that's magical. That's like, you know, finality and understanding is so is another convenience. So I like knowing that, you know, that's queer liberation is kind of beautiful in that way.
that's exactly what is going against stereotyping, you know,
Yeah.
and all that, you know, putting people in boxes. I always tell
Yeah.
kids, you are who you are, you know, like you don't
Yeah.
have to tell everybody, you know, like of course these titles and labels may help sometimes, you know, when I identify myself, you know, I'm an immigrant, I'm a mother, I'm a Latina, but that doesn't define me, you know, and I always, you know, talking about gender, and especially with younger generations, you know, like I see a lot of pressure sometimes, you know, they have to conform. And
Yeah.
even now, like, you know, they have to conform either if they're trans or not. And I tell my daughter, who's only 12, you don't have to decide these things now.
Yeah.
Like, you know, sometimes she gets very upset and, oh,
Yeah.
but so is already deciding. And so, you know, like, yeah, but that's them, you know, like
Yeah. That's
everybody
true.
everybody's going through a different identifying who they are,
Yeah.
and you have to decide right now, like you need to, you know, like really get to know yourself. And like you say, I love the materials of this writer, Maya Gonzalez, which,
Yes.
you know, like I bought all her
Yes.
posters because I love, you know, the way that she represents, you know, like all the
The
different,
wheel.
yeah, the wheel of gender, you know,
I'm
like
so
you
glad you
don't have
got
to
that
be
book.
this or this or this or, you know, like it can be a combination of many things. And then bottom line, you don't have to explain that to everyone, you know, in the
Yeah.
society, because you have to be you and bring your beautiful gifts to this world, whoever you are. And we need to be prepared to accept that bottom line.
Yes.
You know, like we don't have to tell everybody, you know, who they need to be, because
Right.
who are we?
Yeah. And one thing that's cool about Maya and her partner Matthew is they have an indigenous framework too. So what she was putting us up on was that the circle brings us back to nature. So when you think about decolonization of ourselves and our minds, and yes, this is like, you know, these words can be intimidating a little bit for people who aren't familiar with them, but it's like the concept is getting free, right? And also envisioning what's possible beyond all these limits that we just continue to see every day in this administration become more, you know, like walls, all kinds of walls and no's. But decolonization of who we are also is like the freedom to find
Freedom.
yourself connected. So that's also like a solidarity work that you know, I'm honestly I'm kind of at the beginning of that as like a person, because
Yeah.
I'm
Well, I'm a,
it's big work for me.
yeah,
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm a little bit turned off sometimes in different realms now, you know, because the woke people can be very academic, and you have to, you know, like go, you know, through so many terminology. And I am the person who believes that, you know, like we need to try to reach out everyone at their own level. And we need to kind of like, you know, start, you know, like normalizing not just the words, but the examples. So like for me, you know, like saying like becoming decolonized, or, you
Right.
know, just like being mindful that your perspective is not the only perspective. You
Yes.
know, like seriously, we live in a world where the white supremacist perspective has reigned for centuries. Why?
Yeah.
Because, you know, many countries had the opportunity to colonize in a very aggressive way, but that doesn't mean that they were superior or better. That just meant that they were more aggressive in their ways of doing it, and that's what it is. You know, history show it. So when people ask me, you know, what's that? And I'm like, no, it's just about, you know, respecting everybody's perspectives, and acknowledging that there is not one that is over the other one. All of them are beautiful. All of them are very, very valid. And all of them should be respected as long as they, are good, compassionate with everybody else. Because I don't, support any oppression, which
Right.
means, like trying to harm somebody else because they don't believe the way you believe.
Right.
So I tell my kids that I try to, like keep it that simple. I don't like to use so much terminology about like colonize or all that because
Yeah.
I like not a lot of people, and I understand. That's why I was telling you, I believe like so many of us believe, live in circle, in communities, and that can make us, like believe everybody knows about this. Sometimes that happens to me, when I post things in Instagram and then later on I'm reading them and I'm like, oh my gosh, like maybe so many people don't understand,
Yeah.
what, like this terminology. So that's why I say, like children's music can have so much impact even in adult. Like I can assure you, your album is one of my favorites right now.
Oh, good. Thank
I'm
you.
a huge fan, and my kids are like, "Oh my gosh, mom! Like, are you gonna put that song again?" I was like, "Yeah."
That's cool.
But I just wanted to, broadcast that every family that are watching this IG live, please go to Alphabet Records website or my profile. I posted my link. I will be
Ooh.
posting this IG live. Hopefully, I'm gonna get subtitles because I'm gonna start trying to kind of like put in subtitles in all of our videos. Unfortunately, I don't have an iPhone, so I don't have the easy app. So I will have to do
Okay.
subtitlings by myself. And I'm a
Okay.
big mommy, so
I'll
uh,
hook you up with a spot that I found. So when we leading up to our album launch, because it's really about accessibility, right? The subtitling. It's not just the like, oh, so that people can read it while they're at work.
yeah.
There's so much like, how do we eliminate silence? It's interesting to say it like that, but there's so many people are silenced, like people dropping their kids off at school that don't have wheelchair ramps, and they're, how are you supposed to get your kid into school? Like there's so many levels of like that step up. But we use this platform, I'll send you a thing, it's called Wave, and we were able to subtitle our like clips to our songs and leading up to the album release so that people could read the words. And also lingually, like I know when English, for some people when English is not their first language, rap might go too fast, or it's hard to, you want more, but you might
I
be able
am
to read
I
it.
am that person.
Oh,
I
you are?
don't
Okay.
I don't understand 100% of the hip hop or rap music.
Yeah.
Many times I have to go for the lyrics because
But I think
English is not the
also
first
sometimes
language.
just people who aren't like rap listeners or some music listeners don't really hear the lyrics that much. And even, oh my gosh, yesterday we had rehearsal with our youth, and we're gonna do rehearsal tonight too. Maybe we'll put some up on IG Live. And one of the kids was like, "Oh, that's what we're saying. I thought it was this." Like they hadn't read it yet, so they were like, and it was just like one word in the song that they'd changed it up, But every word that we put in the song, we really, really thought about it. So, like you said, like the lyrics have like really rich messages, and they're from our community, so we want
Yeah.
people to really know them. So actually,
Yeah.
we
How many
have all of the
albums
lyrics
do
on our
you have?
website. You can find them.
How many albums do you already have?
This is,
I
I think,
think.
our sixth album.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, the first couple albums were like more us getting to know each other, honestly, and getting to know our audience. And so the first one that really Tommy and I feel like is our step up was called The Playground Zone. And that's when we started writing about like different skin colors and like looking at like what can we do with our audience that's not being done in the industry that feels of value, that connects us, that builds bridges. And then after that album, we came up with Rise, Shine, Woke. And that was just like, because we had to go deeper and talk about this, like not talk about the systems of oppression, but also not be afraid to say there's power at play.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
not just like we're different, but there's power in all of this. I'm not going to
There's
tell.
power in being who you
Yeah.
are, and there's
Yes.
because that's
Yes.
the other part of it, like you are power in being you, and it doesn't matter what others are saying, or it doesn't matter what like society may say sometimes, we are with you. And you know, like that's what, you know, the message is. I love that you are empowering children and communities. If you are raising free-minded children, which I
Yes.
mean, free-minded is like lovers, conscious kids, nature lovers, and in general, please listen to Alphabet Rockers. I love the collaboration you had with Un, Dos, Tres, Andres.
Oh my
He's
gosh, they're the best.
I still have to do an IG live with him, but he's been
Okay.
busy, you know, like also touring. So we'll get there, but that IG live is going to be amazing as well. So I just wanted to thank you
Thank you
so
so
much
much
for the
for your
time.
brilliance.
And we're going to keep promoting you and supporting you from
True.
Florida. I just have to get ready for a hurricane now. Yes.
Well, we're gonna hook you up with a
Yeah,
T-shirt too. We have
in
a
this
couple
town
advocacy
where
shirts. So
hurricane is gonna hit, so I have to
yeah.
now go to the store. It's crazy here. Everybody
Oh,
gets
please be safe.
understanding. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it dies down quickly. And then I was gonna say we have a couple of T-shirts that I would love to send you one. One says "These walls can't stop the love," which we know what that's about. We have one that says "I will stand up for you," and our new T-shirts say "Not free until you're free." So you can let us know. You
Oh,
can message
I
me, and I'll
know.
send you ones, and you can
I'm
represent South
probably
Florida.
it. Because, like I say, Mama Tortuga is fan of Alphabet Rockers. Okay.
Yay!
So
All right. Well, thanks for the love, for real.
yes, remember I posted everything on our website. You just go to our profile, you click in it. All their media is on my site, and then I will be subtitling this video and putting it up in our website and YouTube. Thank you
Good.
so much
Let
to
me just end it
everyone.
with a picture that one of our kids made for us that says, can you see it? Every child has a voice.
Can you
Let's
like
see.
censor? I don't think
Let
it
me
was censored.
see. Oh,
Okay.
there we go.
Okay.
Every
Oh,
child has a voice, and another kid wrote, "Kids have the power to change the world, make the world shine." And right next to that, you see Maya, Christina Gonzalez's gender wheel.
yes, I
So.
have it too in my wall.
Just to remind us all that, our young people are 100% with us, watching us. Let's all step up together and just support them. So that's my message with you.
Well, we are
Thank you.
here for you. So please keep Mama Tortuga in your loop whenever you guys are like having new plans. You guys
Okay.
don't know. I just want to tell the audience. You guys don't know what they're doing. Like they're doing a lot of cool things in California. Like we didn't have time to talk about all their projects, but they're amazing.
Podcast.
They have a podcast. They also have a project with artists working with immigrant children that are in concentration camps right now. And you know, like they really have a big heart to show up and show solidarity. And please support them as well, okay? Because
And I'm
this
just one of like a lot of us.
I know that's exactly,
So,
you know, like I
yeah.
know like a lot, I have beautiful followers as well around the world, so I just want them to know
Wonderful.
about you guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye,
Okay, till next
friends.
time, amiga. Bye.